Hi everybody, it's Kelly Holland from Divinity Designs. Today I'm here along with Lisa Somerville to show you the January 2023 Blessings box. So let's get started. We always include this box insert, and this for the January 2023 box shows you all the different products that are inside the box. They're always listed here on the right. All the products are listed on the left with the product numbers. You'll see that this box has a total retail value of $105.70, but as a membership price, it's always $75. Now I will show you all the products inside the box. And later on in this video, Lisa Somerville will come on to give you tips on how to use the products and different inspiration from our design team. The accordion pop-out card does fit in an E2 envelope. It'll be a tight fit, but depending on how many layers you have, you could always adjust the size of your base so it fits easier into the envelope. Here we have my card, complete with the folk flowers and one of the verses from the Friendship stamp set. First up, we have the accordion pop-out card. This is a die that has 3 different layers, and each layer has a layering panel inside. This one is rather large, but to fit in the box, I had to put it on both sides of the packaging. So here you can see it here. This is the bottom layer, the middle layer, the top layer. And then we also have layering dies that you could layer on top with designer paper. So that is the accordion pop-out card die set. And here we have the accordion pop-out die that's been cut out and put together. You will need a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, or whichever size you prefer as your base. That doesn't come with the set, but all the layering dies do. So each one of these folds on the score lines, and you put tape on them, and you assemble them. And this is the simple one without any layering dies on it. You can see when you stand it, it has a lot of dimension. It's just really cute. This card here, this one has had the layering dies added to it with the different papers that I'll be showing you that come also in the box. You can see the layers there. And there you have it. Lisa will go over the die in further detail later in the video. Next is the Folk Flowers flower die set. Let me show you the back. We have lots of different sizes of the flowers, lots of different sizes for petals, inside pieces. Here's the sample here, how you layer them up. Create lots of different unique combinations using the die. And there we have folk flowers. This is the stamp set that's included in the Blessings box. It's called Friendship. And they're nice, big, bold sentiments. It's a clear set. And that's Friendship. Next in the kit is the Flower Power paper pad. This is a 6 by 6. It has 4 designer papers and 2 solid colors. There's 6 each of the designer papers and 3 each of the solid colors. And let me go through those. First is the larger pattern. This is great. It's got a lot of bright colors, a lot of pretty flowers. Next is a medium-sized print, great for backgrounds. Lots of different flowers and more bright colors. Back to another larger print. And then a small print. Again, with lots of flowers and those bright colors that I just love. And then I'll show you the solid colors. You have like a fuchsia and a bright green. And those match the designer papers. So there you have the Flower Power 6 by 6 paper pad. Next up is one of our mixed media stencils. This one is called Fancy Fans. It is a kit exclusive. You can only get it in this box. A lot of people wanted to try stencils, and so we thought we'd put them in this kit so you could try it out a little bit, see if you like it. All you need is this and some ink and brushes, and we're also including the brushes. This is our blending brushes, set of 2. We also have another set. That's a set of 3. They're a little smaller. You get 3 smaller ones, so you could pick those up when you order your add-ons. And those are the blending brushes. Lisa will give you some great ideas on how to use these products.
Hi everybody, this is Lisa Somerville for Divinity Designs. Thank you, Kelly, for sharing with us a look at what's inside the January 2023 Blessings Box. I'm here to share with you a closer look at these products, some tips and inspiration from the design team. The stamp set, Friendship. This is a clear stamp set that contains 7 stamps. When using our clear stamp sets, I'd like to use a sanding block to go back and forth over the stamp once it's on the acrylic block. This will help remove any film or residue that may be left on the stamp, which will ensure a nice crisp image when stamping onto your cardstock or pattern paper. Simply take that sanding block, go back and forth over the stamp, then simply brush away the stamp to remove any of the sanding block that may be left on the stamp. Then ink with a nice fresh ink pad and stamp onto your cardstock using nice even pressure. The custom dies, folk flowers. This is a set of 20. You'll die cut and emboss this die set following the directions for your die cutting machine. Embossing the dies will bring out the detail of the dies. After you've die cut the dies from cardstock, you can assemble using Bearly Art Craft glue or your favorite adhesive to create the floral image that you see here. This is a very versatile floral die set as there are many different combinations that you can create by using these dies. Here's a few different ideas using the Folk Flowers die set along with additional Divinity Designs products. And one more where I've used the flowers in the centers, and also this die here to add leaves to my small flowers. Here you can see some of the die cut and embossed pieces from the Folk Flowers die set. You can see that these here were die cut from colored cardstock. On this one here, it was die cut and embossed from white cardstock. After die cutting and embossing, I simply left the cardstock within the die, and then I used my blending brush and ink to go over the die to add color to the white cardstock. The same thing was done with the leaves here. I die cut and embossed from the green cardstock. I left the cardstock within the die. Then I used the blending brush and ink to go over the die to transfer the ink to the raised area of the die cut. These 2 floral pieces from the Folk Flowers were die cut from the same piece of pink cardstock. This one is a little bit darker because just like the other pieces, after die cutting and embossing, I left the cardstock within the die and then I used the blending brush and ink to go over the die to transfer the ink to the cardstock. If you're going to add stenciling to your die cut pieces, be sure to clean the dies before storing them for their next use. The next die set is the Accordion pop-out card. This is a set of 6. It contains the top, middle, and bottom panel, along with a layer for each of these panels. You will also need a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 cardstock panel to complete the card. Please note that this additional 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 cardstock panel is not included with this die set. Now here's a finished sample using the Accordion pop-out card along with additional Divinity Designs products. You can see that when assembled, this does stand up. Here's the side view. And you can see I've also decorated the back side of this card. This will fold flat and fit into an A2 envelope. When you open up the packaging, you'll find directions on the inside that will tell you Mountain, Valley, Mountain for your folds on each the bottom, middle, and top panels. Here we have the bottom panel and layer, and then the middle and top panels and layer. When die cutting the layering panels for all 3 of these dies, be sure to die cut and emboss following the directions for your die cutting machine. Embossing the layering panels will bring out the detail of the dies. For the base on my Accordion pop-out card, I used our matting rectangle die. On the back side, I used the layering die from the A2 Portrait Card Base with Layer Die set. This is one of the layers from the Accordion pop-out card. And here you can see the sentiment from the Friendship stamp set. This is also one of the sentiments from the Friendship stamp set, and I embellished this card using the Folk Flowers die set along with a Flower Power paper pad. As I mentioned, for the base card, I used our matting rectangle. I added layering dies using the layers from the Accordion pop-up card. It's okay that this area here isn't covered because it's not going to show. Again, for the back side, I used the layering die from the A2 Portrait Card Base, and this is the smallest layer from the Accordion pop-out card. Now, I'm sure you're probably wondering why I didn't cover the front side of this panel using that same layering die that I did on the back. Reason being, when this is folded flat, I wanted all of the paper pad to be in alignment. These two samples will better show you what I'm talking about. Both of these base cards were die cut and embossed using the matting rectangle. On this one on the right, I used the layering panels from the Accordion pop-out card, and on this white panel, I used the layer panel from the A2 Portrait Card Base with Layer Die set. Now let me show you just how easy it is to create a card using the Accordion pop-out card. Again, you're going to need a base card, which is not included with this die set. Here are the pieces that are included with the Accordion pop-out card. You have the bottom, the middle, and the top panel, and then you have the bottom, middle, and top layering panels. You can die cut the bottom, middle, and top panel from cardstock, and then you can die cut and emboss those layering panels from pattern paper. Again, to complete this card, you're going to need a base card. I've used our matting rectangle die, and then I added the die cut and embossed layers from the Accordion pop-out card. And because I wanted a more finished look on the back side, I've also decorated the back of the card. The base panels from this die set will die cut and score for you. If you'd like to reinforce the score marks, you can use a score buddy. Then we're going to fold on all the score marks for the top, middle, and bottom panels. So here you can see we have Mountain Valley Mountain on both sides. Again, you can go over these score marks with a bone folder for nice crisp scores. After all of these panels have been scored, you can go ahead and add that die cut and embossed layering panel to the center as shown here. We're going to turn those panels over and add adhesive to these two sides like you see here. You're going to repeat that on all three of the base panels. We're then going to remove the release paper from the adhesive and add these three panels together. Because these panels are all the same size, I'm using the Score Buddy to help easily align the panels together. So here we have the bottom and middle panel along with the layering panels. And now we're going to add the top panel with the layering panel. And here we have the top, middle, and bottom panel along with their coordinating layering panels. So those are the die pieces that are included in the Accordion pop-out card. Now we're going to add this to my base card. After removing the release paper from the tape, I'm going to adhere this to the base card, aligning it at the bottom. I don't want to align it to the side because my panel is just a tad larger than the Accordion pop-out. So here's the Accordion pop-out card with its coordinating layers added to the base card. You can see on this one, I did not decorate the back side yet. Again, this will fold flat to fit into an A2 envelope. And again, here's the finished one that's already decorated. Now the paper that you've seen on the projects that I've shown in this video so far all come from our Flower Power paper pad. This 6x6 paper pad collection features 24 designer papers, 6 sheets of each design, along with 6 solid color papers, 3 sheets of each color. Now, if you're looking for ink or cardstock to coordinate with the Flower Power paper pad, we do have Bright's ink cubes and Bright's cardstock found on our website. The Bright's cardstock is 6x9, and that's the cardstock that I've used on a lot of my projects. Now, the last two products that I have to share with you go hand in hand. We have our Fancy Fans Mixed Media Stencil. This is 6x6. And one set of our blending brushes. Before I share with you some tips for using our mixed media stencils and blending brushes, I wanted to share with you a few additional products. We do have the set of smaller blending brushes on our website. We also have a blending brush cleaning tool. And we also have a holder for storing your blending brushes and additional supplies that fit into the opening of the holder. Those two products can also be found on our website. Shown here is a finished card using the Fancy Fans Mixed Media Stencil along with additional Divinity Designs products. I'll be sharing with you a quick tutorial on how I created this background after I share with you some additional pieces using the Fancy Fans Mixed Media Stencil. You can use our mixed media stencils and blending brushes to add a pop of color to create a subtle background behind your stamped images, verses, or sentiments. The sample here, I simply used the Mixed Media Fancy Fan stencil along with our blending brush and one of our Bright's ink cubes. On this sample here, I have a monochromatic look using the Bright's cardstock, the Bright's ink cube, and their blending brush along with the Fancy Fans Mixed Media Stencil. Now on this panel here, instead of washing the stencil right away, I simply spritzed it and then smushed the stencil onto the white cardstock, creating the subtle background that you see here. In addition to using our stencils with blending brushes, inks, sprays, or paints, you can also dry emboss our stencils. Here's a finished card with a Fancy Fans Mixed Media Stencil was dry embossed into the Bright's cardstock panel. We do have a more in-depth video on our YouTube channel for using our mixed media stencils. Now I'll share with you just how easy it is to create the background here using the Fancy Fans Mixed Media Stencil along with our blending brushes and ink. Here you can see I've already applied white ink to the craft cardstock using our blending brush. Then I used my embossing tool to heat set the ink. Now if you wanted to go for a tone-on-tone, more dry embossed look, you could use the same color ink as your cardstock. Or you can use multiple colors of ink like I did on this card. We're starting with a clean stencil. You can see the cardstock where the white pigment ink was added. Here you can see that stencil directly over the inked area. To create the offset, simply shift that stencil down and slightly over. Then use removable tape to hold that stencil in place so that it doesn't shift as you use ink and a blending brush to apply ink over the stencil. After the stencil has been completely covered using the blending brush and ink, you can then remove the stencil. Be sure to wash the stencil before storing it for its next use. Now I can die cut and emboss this panel and then use it to make a completed card. And the finished panel looks like it was dry embossed. And here's a closer look at some of the projects that I've created using the January 2023 Blessings Box along with additional Divinity Designs products. Again, on this panel, you can see that stencil was dry embossed in the background. Here the pattern paper from the Flower Power paper pad was layered behind one of our background dies. And here's that accordion pop-out card. Again, for the accordion pop-out card, you're going to need an additional base card panel that is not included with the die set. Now I'll be sharing with you some inspiration from our design team. If you have any questions about the products shown in this video, you can use the Leave a Message button on our website to send us an email. For more inspiration, visit the product pages on our website, like us on Facebook, or follow us on Pinterest and Instagram.